Hey everyone, today I want to cover a basic overview of Toyota's TPMS or Tire Pressure Monitoring System. Starting in 2007, the federal government mandated that all new vehicles had to have some sort of tire pressure sensors on it. Whether it was a more basic system like this Corolla or something more elaborate that gave readouts for every individual tire, it had to have something. The Corollas only have a single light that when you turn on the car, the tire pressure light will come on just for a few seconds to let you know that the light is working. Now, that symbol is pretty universal for all manufacturers, but that's what it looks like on the Corollas. Now, because it's just a single light, how that light comes on can differentiate what it's trying to tell you. If the light comes on solid when you're operating the vehicle, that means there is a low tire somewhere. It doesn't tell you which one. You have to figure that out for yourself. But if that light comes on and flashes for a few minutes before it stays on solid, what that means is there is a system fault somewhere. Either one of the tire pressure sensors went bad or the module that communicates with them is not working correctly, but that's what that means. If the light comes on, either way, I would still just double check. I pull over the side of the road, check all four tires for your safety, make sure it's okay. Now, there's a little bit of confusion with these Corollas because there is a set button in the glove box that has the tire symbol on it. Now, all that does is reset the minimum threshold for the system. That doesn't fix any problems. It doesn't turn the system off. So like this Corolla from the factory is 32 PSI. Say you wanted to run 34 PSI. You can press and hold that button and the tire light on the dashboard will flash, letting you know it's recalibrated to 34. That's all that does. It's a minimum threshold reset. So every tire has its own sensor in it. Some of them look a little bit different. Some of them are metal on the outside. Some of them are rubber. But you have to take the tire off, not completely off the rim, but you have to let the air out of the tire and break the bead to get the sensors out. You can't just take the sensor off and put a new one on. That you can't access it that way. It's not how it works. Now, you can change these sensors at home. And I will post in the description below a link to a pretty good video of a gentleman that describes how and shows how to do it. Essentially, you have to take the tire and wheel off the vehicle, you wedge it underneath the rocker panel, and you use the scissor jack that the car comes with to basically push the front tire and the front bead down so you can access the sensor from inside. Now, because you only break the bead on the one side, you don't have to rebalance the wheel because you're not moving the tire and wheel to a different position than from where it originally was. So I had one tire pressure sensor actually just go bad on this car. They're supposed to be good for 10 to about 15 years. Unfortunately, I just had one go bad after 6. The dealer wanted $300 to replace it, which I think is pretty expensive considering this is a relatively easy fix. The only problem you're going to run into with replacing one of these sensors at home is programming it. Now, this is what the sensor actually looks like. This upper part is what actually protrudes through the rim, and this lower part, you see the little rubber gasket here, is what actually sits in the tire and communicates with the system itself. So it's a pretty small, basic, simple setup. It has a little computer chip inside, and it's powered by basically a watch battery, and the whole thing is encased in silicone. Now, people have cut all the silicone out and replaced the battery if it's a low battery problem. It may or may not be low battery. You can try to do it that way, but you're going to have to cut all the silicone out, replace the battery, and re-silicone it up, and it may or may not fix the problem depending on if it's low battery, if it's a system fault, whatever it may be. But like I said, you can replace the sensor at home. The problem is reprogramming it. Every sensor has a code on it. See, mine starts with 826. That is the code for this individual sensor, and every sensor has a different code on it. There's two ways to go about replacing this. You can either use the type of tire pressure monitoring programming sensor that plugs into the car, and you actually change this number and remove the old number and put the new number in its place. That's one way to do it. The cordless units typically clone a sensor similar to this, but it's what they call a clonable sensor, where you take the number off of the old sensor and put it onto the new sensor so you don't have to change the number in the computer. It basically just takes over the old number with the new sensor. But like I said, the issue you run into doing this at home is getting it reprogrammed. You need some sort of programmable computer to change that number. So anybody that's thinking about doing this at home, like I said, I will link that in the description below to changing this out. And that gentleman, I believe, also has links in his video to some tools on Amazon. You can purchase the tool needed to replace these codes. It's probably going to run you at least $100 to $200, maybe more, depending on how it's set up. But that's just a basic overview of what these sensors look like, how they work, and what the different symbols from the light means. Especially on these cars that have a basic light and don't have a more complex system showing if it's a fault, where it will just show nothing, or it'll show a tire readout if the tire is low. So I hope this was a little informative for everybody. Thanks for watching.